Liberty Falls is located in West Virginia, a rural region of North America that's set against the rolling hills and rocky outcrops of the Appalachian mountain range. This setting appears throughout all of the main game modes for Black Ops 6, though we've only been given a brief glimpse of it in Zombies. However, keen-eyed players have spotted Liberty Falls in the form of two multiplayer maps. The first is named Rewind, a quaint shopping plaza characterized by its rustic Americana aesthetic, primarily focused around this typical 90s video rental store. The other is Derelict, an overgrown railroad surrounded by a maze of rusty train cars and ruined brick buildings that have been reclaimed by nature. Both maps exemplify the variety that West Virginia's landscape has to offer. Liberty Falls is said to be just as sunny and vibrant, so it'll be important for Treyarch to distinguish the Zombies version from its counterparts. Over the years, West Virginia has experienced a lot of strange and inexplicable phenomena, with its fair share of cryptid creatures and UFO sightings along the way. Presumably, Treyarch will delve deep into the area's paranormal happenings to craft its enemy roster. Since Black Ops Cold War, it seems like Treyarch has developed a diverse and robust rogues gallery that they've consistently liked to use. It could be the case that they'll want to do the same here, reaching a compromise between a new visual aesthetic and reliable enemy behavior, so we'll be looking at these fearsome foes with that idea in mind. An urban legend well known amongst West Virginians is the extraterrestrial Flatwoods Monster, who has become a sort of mascot for the state in modern times. Most identifiable by a teardrop-shaped head, it was recounted as emanating a headache-inducing haze whilst gliding around the forest. Something about the description brings to mind the Avogadro, or the equally alien Tempests, these shrouded otherworldly entities who hover at a cautious distance before targeting players. More obscure is the Grafton Monster, a formidable, brutish giant said to lurk amongst the Appalachian woods that's all muscle and no head. Literally. How it's described is startlingly reminiscent of the Orda, a grotesque, gargantuan threat that was initially its own urban legend, sighted on the woodland outskirts of D Machina, before properly debuting in Firebase C. Perhaps the most infamous cryptid from West Virginia is the Mothman. Since the 60s, there have been sightings of a winged, shadowy figure with piercing magenta-red eyes watching whenever a disaster strikes. You hear about this guy even today, so it's definitely an enduring myth that's captured the imagination. Since the Mothman is considered an omen of doom, it could act as support for enemies instead of outright attacking players, empowering zombies like the Disciple does, by putting them under its hypnotic spell. And that's only scratching the surface. There's plenty of creepy cryptids roaming around West Virginia. These kinds of urban legends are the foundation that the Aether story was built on, so hopefully Treyarch illustrates some of that unique folklore in their own way. To get a rough idea about what you can expect to see in Liberty Falls, it's worth looking at Fallout 76, which depicts a post-apocalyptic rendition of Appalachia. The Fallout games are set in an alternate reality, and through a retro-futurist sci-fi lens, act as a commentary on the idea of the American dream. Treyarch have always displayed an awareness of the media landscape around them, so for Liberty Falls they'll probably be inspired by how Bethesda portrays West Virginia in their own game. Something to note about Liberty Falls is that Treyarch has been hinting at some sort of connection to Green Run. On the surface this doesn't make much sense, after all West Virginia is a far cry from Washington, but upon closer inspection, there are some peculiar parallels between what we know of Green Run and what we've been told of Liberty Falls. Treyarch intended for Green Run to be a conventional, picturesque recreation of an all-American town, much like what Liberty Falls is shaping up to be. Because of logistical reasons, what we got instead was a sparse, fog-covered, fiery hellscape. It's hard to imagine a version of the map other than this, but for a while now fans have expressed an interest in seeing Green Run within the context of that original premise that elaborates further on the relatively undeveloped areas. There's also the perplexing but much welcomed return of Klaus, the lovable killing machine who sacrificed himself to save the day in Mauer der Toten. In his reborn incarnation, he looks to have been fixed up with spare parts and melted synthetic skin resembling another fan-favorite, snarky automaton voiced by Nolan North, Ted. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch that the role of bus driver has now migrated to a broken-down Klaus. When aggravated, he could potentially even relinquish his control to allow players a chance at driving the bus themselves, as was planned for Blackout. These shared elements might not just be limited to Green Run either. On the flip side of Liberty Falls is another realm that looks like an inverted version of the town. D Machina transported players to an exact copy of its own location, imprinted into the Dark Ether membrane. This has been a recurring trend in successive maps too, But here it looks like what we're being shown is instead a remembered version of Liberty Falls from when the settlement was established, a wild West Virginia, if you will. This would certainly be an inventive way for Treyarch to revisit Resolution 1295, expanding the Ghost Town area from Blackout into a fully fledged western frontier that mirrors Liberty Falls. Since Treyarch shifted gears to work on Black Ops Cold War, it meant a lot of content was scrapped from Black Ops 4. This included remakes of Green Run, Great Leap Forward, and Resolution 1295. They were left in a state of flux, quite far into development, but not aligning with the current state of zombies. It'd be difficult to bring them back as they were, but maybe Treyarch has found a way, by going back to the drawing board, to create a functionally brand new experience that evokes the spirit of those maps rather than being a one-to-one remake. There's a real sense that Treyarch's design philosophy for Black Ops 6 is to break the mold in terms of the Call of Duty gameplay we've come to expect. With their newest campaign, Treyarch are going for an open-world playstyle to emphasize choice and replayability, instead of standard on-the-rails linear progression. In multiplayer, the Omni movement mechanic is completely changing how players interact with the space around them to feed into that whole action hero fantasy. Following the unexpected success of Outbreak in Black Ops Cold War, it's clear Treyarch wants to revolutionize the zombies format too. Although they've been hard at work on Black Ops 6 since their last entry, behind the scenes Treyarch have still had a presence helping their peers with Outbreak-adjacent modes. Because of how experimental Vanguard and Modern Warfare 3 were, it would make sense that Treyarch have been using their downtime to innovate on the conventional zombies formula, figuring out what does and does not work. So with all this in mind, what's actually going on with Liberty Falls? The simple answer would be that it's a bare-bones survival map, comparable to those more casual pre-order bonuses like Nuketown Zombies and The Giant, which are a nice palate cleanser against the more complex story-driven experiences. Or if the map is in actuality an adaptation of Green Run, Treyarch would now be unhampered by the type of hardware limitations faced when making Black Ops 2. This would mean they'd be able to deliver on the interconnected, expansive map that Transit was initially envisioned as. It's rumored that Treyarch are supporting Warzone 2 with a resurgence map based in America called Area 99. Putting the pieces together, it makes sense if this map was based in West Virginia, designed as a whole region that can be utilized elsewhere in Black Ops 6. In fact, we've already seen this scenario in Modern Warfare 3, a game that was extremely economical with its play space. Only time will tell, but it'd be fitting as Green Run originated this idea, and Call of Duty has gradually iterated on it ever since, only to come full circle with Liberty Falls.